Hello, hello, hello. How are you? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Coach Dawn Allen podcast, sponsored by Stay Sexy Wellness. And I am your host, Coach Dawn Allen. And how are you doing today? Make sure everybody's here with me today. All right, here we go. So, today is episode number 85, and it is going to be a great one as usual. And today we're going to talk about Miss Ruby Bridges. Ruby Bridges. That's going to be a really, really great one today. And if you have any get any value, please, please, please let me know. Drop a V or value so I know that I am giving you some great, great information. So today we're going to do Ruby Nell Bridges, and she is a civil rights activist. Yes. So this is going to be some great history. A lot of you probably have heard about her before. I'm sure a lot of you have, but if you haven't, that's fine. It's always good to refresh if you didn't know, and maybe something that you didn't know about it. I'm going to drop down the information this evening. So here we go. Ruby Nell Bridges. She was born September 8th, 1954, and she is known as an American civil rights activist because she was the first African American child to attend a formerly white only school. Let me break it on down to you really what was going on. So, she was the oldest of five children. Her parents were Auburn and Lucille Bridges. And, she was a child. She liked doing children's things. She liked doing jump rope and climbing trees. And she used to watch her brothers and sisters. So she was originally born in Mississippi, Collartown, and then they moved to um, New Orleans, Louisiana in 1960. Now, this part I did not know. This was interesting. What happened was, um, her parents responded to a request from the National Association for Advancement of Colored People, NAACP. So they responded, okay, to a response, and to volunteer her to participate in the integration of the New Orleans school system, even though her father kind of hesitated. Okay, so she was volunteers to say, and she requested. That part I didn't know. So this was very interesting because this was right in the middle of the civil rights case, Brown versus Brown, and a decision was made in which the schools now had to be desegregated. So at the time, it was black children going to black schools only and white children going to white schools only. Now they wanted to mix the races and said it was unconstitutional for them to mix, to not to mix. So now they had 6 years, okay, to desegregate the schools. Okay, that's 6 years to do that. Now there was a lot of states that were protesting. They were taking their time. They really wasn't trying to hurry up with these laws. But in 1957, the federal troops were ordered in Little Rock to escort the Little Rock Nine to school because they had kind of violence, against them as well. So they were also escorted by um, police and whatnot. So in Bridget's case, what happened with her, she had to take an entrance exam to get into elementary school because they felt, well, they didn't qualify to go to school. So before they sure they wanted to go to school, they had to take an exam. So they were trying to avoid letting them get in. So there were six children there that took this test. So six of them passed. Okay, so um, two of the children they went back to the old school, and three of the children, Gail Etienne, Leanna Tate, and Tessie Provost, all three of them went to McDowell number 19 elementary school. Okay, but Bridges, well, she was the only one who went to her school by herself, so she went to her school by herself. So her father really didn't want her to go to school. He was kind of reluctant about it. He was kind of unsure because she was by herself. At least the other girls, there were three of them together. She was by herself. There was a lonely one. And they were all 6 years old. So he was reluctant, right? So, but her mama was very strong. She felt like, no, look, She said that was needed not only to give her own daughter a better education, but to take the step forward for all African American children. Her mom finally convinced her dad to let her go to school. So mom convinced dad. So on Monday, November 4th, Norman Rockwell, he did a portrait of Ruby, going her first day of school. And it was a court order, actually, it was a court order for the school to let her in a certain day. So with Judge Shelley Wright, court ordered them to have her go to school on Monday, 4th, 1960. So I'm going to read something that Bridget said. Bridget said this, okay? She said, driving up, I could see the crowd, but living in New Orleans, I actually thought it was Mardi Gras. There was a large crowd of people outside of the school, and they were throwing things and shouting, and that sort of goes on in New Orleans at Mardi Gras. So she was thinking the people was there throwing things and whatnot was Mardi Gras. So she really didn't, I guess she really didn't think about it the way it really was, which is kind of good. Probably she would have been really more scared, more frightened. So this is another quote. Former United States Deputy Marshal Charles Burke later recalled, she showed a lot of courage. She never cried. She didn't whimper. She just marched along like a little soldier, and we're all very proud of her. Those are two quotes of the people of the deputy and Bridges herself. That was kind of interesting. They thought. So as she pulled up to school, there was some parents that pulled the kids out of school, and there's some teachers that refused to teach her as well. So there was one little girl. There was no, it was one teacher that taught her. Nobody else. Only one teacher taught her. She was from Boston, Massachusetts, and her name was Barbara Henry. So she was the only one that taught her. So apparently, the whole year it was just a teacher, Barbara Henry, and Bridget. Bridget's all by themselves. They had a year of one class, one on one, all year. So the first day of school, she spent the whole day, her and her mom, in the principal's office because they were trying to organize things. It was so chaotic. They didn't want her to go to school by herself or roam around the school. So day two, it was a little differently. There was a white child. She was 5 years old. Her name was Pam, and Pam was sweated by her father. And they broke the barrier and they went to school. They went into the school because his dad said he wanted his daughter to get an education. So as days went on, more and more parents began to bring their children to school, and eventually it subdued a little bit. But every day, she said, as she was walking to school, there was a woman that threatened her, said she's going to poison her, and she, had a black baby doll, and just doing things to the doll. Opening the doll was in a coffin. So the U.S. Marshal dispatched. They told her that they didn't want her to eat the food in the cafeteria, that she needed to bring her own food. So every day she brought her own food from home, and that she couldn't go outside and recess on it at all. So she stayed in the classroom pretty much all day. So she couldn't go outside with the kids, and she couldn't eat with the kids either. So it was just her and her teacher all year long. And eventually, she was a child psychiatrist. Robert Cole volunteered to counsel her as well for the whole year, and he wrote a book as well called The Story of Ruby Bridges, and proceeds went to her foundation that she had. So her parents and family did have some problems as well. Her uncle had some land; he lost the land, and apparently her mom and dad separated eventually over time. Um, but there were some people that was on her side. They watched their house. They showed nobody messed with their house. They before then they found her father a new job. They babysat for her, and she didn't find out till later on in life that she has really nice clothes going to school, and that they were donated by the psychiatrist family, the Cole family. But can you imagine going to school? The first day of school is supposed to be a great day. You're supposed to be, have on your new clothes. You have your hair done, and just be happy to go to school. When you go to school, it's a mob of people throwing stuff at you, calling you names. That is not the way to go to school. That is not fun. So in her adult life, she lives in Orleans. She has 4 children. She's married, and she has her own Ruby Foundation. And the mission says the values of tolerance, respect, and appreciation of all differences. Describing the mission of the group, she says racism is a grown up disease, and we must stop using our children to spread it. Amen. Amen. They also have a movie out as well, and she did lose her home to Katrina, like 1,000 other people. She lost her home, and also her school, William France Elementary School, was damaged. But they did get it together. They did fix it up. Now she has a lot of rewards and a lot of things that she had in her life. One of in November, the first thing was November 2007. There was a Children's Museum of Indianapolis, and they unveiled a new permanent exhibition. It's called "The Power of Children Making Differences," and in that they had a recreation of Bridget's first grade classroom. Isn't that amazing? And it said in 2010, Bridges had a 50th year anniversary reunion, at William France Elementary School, and her friend Pam was there. Pam was the 5-year-old girl, the first girl that broke the white barrier. So she was there as well. Oh, this is an interesting fact. It's okay, interesting. She met President Barack Obama at the White House, and what he did was he had the picture that Norman Rockwell had painted, and he put it in the West Wing. And he said this quote: "I think it's fair to say that if it wasn't hadn't been for you guys, I might not be here and wouldn't be looking you in the face right now." That was powerful right there. Barack said, "Hey, without you, I might not even be here." And she had so many honors and rewards over the years. I want to read some of them to you. She had so many awards here. She had the honorary degree from Connecticut College. She did a Carter G. Wilson Book Award. She got that. In 2000, the 40th year anniversary of her walk to school. She was honorary U.S. Marshal because of her walk. In 2001, she got the Presidential Citizen Medal by President Bill Clinton. In 2006, she was honored with the Hero Against Racism at the 12th anniversary anti-defamation at the Kennedy Center. 2012, honorary degree at Tulane University. 2016, the Steinmark Award for empathy, commitment to democratic value, and belief in the dignity of people who by circumstance are pushed to the fringes. In 2027, Robert Call of Service, award by Phillips Brooke House Association at Harvard University. Okay. 2024, she was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame, and also she was inducted alongside Serena Williams. And 2 elementary schools are named after bridges, one in Alameda, California, and the second one in Woodinville, Washington. And a statue stands in the courtyard of William France Elementary School. Can you believe that? A statue stands in the courtyard of William France Elementary School. So they asked her uh, what she hopes children will feel when seeing the statue. She responded, ready for this? "I think kids will look at it and think to themselves, I can do something great too. Kids can do anything, and I want them to be able to see themselves in the statue. Hopefully, that will remind them that they can change the world." Boom, drop the mic. It's beautiful. That is a beautiful thing. I love that. So that's it. Children can change the world. She was 6 years old, came out at 6 years old, and she changed history. Isn't that amazing? 6 years old. Wow. And our parents were brave too because they took the initiative and said, "Yeah, we're gonna volunteer our daughter." That's a bold, strong family right there. And also, FYI, she wrote a book. It's a new children's book. It's a love letter to her first grade teacher, Miss Barbara Henry, and it's called "She's Like Another Mom to Me." And it said that nearly 65 years later, their bond is still strong. Isn't that beautiful? It's still strong. 65 years. Wow. Well, that is my Black History fact for this evening. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you like more, tomorrow I will have my podcast, um, the Coach Don Ellie podcast, Wednesday, which is tomorrow at 9 p.m. on IG. I'll be at 9 o'clock. The Sexy Wellness on Facebook, Dawn Allen, and on YouTube, Stay Sexy Wellness as well. This episode number, I think, is 91, and it is called No More Flu for You. No More Flu for You. So that will be my thing for tomorrow. Please join me. I would appreciate it. And you learn about the flu and what's going on with the flu. This new flu is not nice, and some of the things that you look out for and think remedies that you may want to use. So you too cannot get the flu, and if you do, you know what to do. Okay? So I will see you tomorrow. But like I always say, stay well and healthy with Stay Sexy Wellness. See you tomorrow, and for both things. See you tomorrow for a podcast, and see you tomorrow for another Black History Fact. Until tomorrow, bye bye.